Hello students, hope you are staying safe. So today in this lecture we'll see the concept of prepared statement in Java. Okay, so what we are doing will be just using a Java application with the help of which we will try to insert the records in our database. Okay, so now the work is with the help of the Java application we will fire a query, and that query is responsible to send some values or some records into our database table. Okay, so let's see what is in our database right now. So I'll just open this particular panel and I just type the command show databases. Okay, so these are the databases that are present in my system. So I have to work with the database student. Okay, so it is visible here, the database student. So what I'll do, I'll just type use student. Okay, so now the database mode has been changed to student, and now I will be able to work in this particular database. So let's try to see what are the tables that are present in the database. Okay, so I will just type show tables. Okay, so there is a table that is named as a student that is present in my database, that is a student. Okay, so let us try to see the schema of this student table. So I will just type describe. Okay, describe, and the name is student. Okay, so let's see, there are two fields, the name field and the age field. So this is the schema that contains the name field of type varchar and the age field of type integer. Okay, so again I'll just try to run a command, a query, that will just help us to see whether there are certain records present in our student table or not. Okay, so I'll just write select star from student. Okay, so this query will just process, will be processed by the database engine, and it will show all the records, if any, that are present in our particular student table that resides in the database student. Okay, so now it says that empty set, it means there are no records that are present in our table. Okay, no records that are present in our table. Okay, so now what we have to do, our task is to send the records from the Java application to this table. So we will just write the queries. Okay, we will just write the query, insert query from our Java application, and with the help of the Java application, the user will give the input that what is the name of the particular student and what is the age of the particular student, and this name and age will be given at the runtime by the user, by the programmer. And when this particular name and age will be compiled, will be processed at the database engine with the help of certain procedures, this particular name and age will be reflected in our database. Okay, so now we will implement the concept with the help of a Java application. Okay, so I have written certain lines. Okay, I'll just explain to you. The first line is class.forName. Okay, that is used to register and load the driver explicitly. Okay, second line is for creating a connection. Okay, so in this we are using a driver manager class, that is calling a connection get connection method, and inside this method we have just passed the database URL, and the username and the password of our database. Okay, the student is this is the name of the database, and 3306 is the port number on which MySQL is working. Okay, so what I'll do next, I'll just create an object for prepared statement. Okay, so what I'll write prepared statement. Okay, and I'll just create ps is equal to con dot, this is con1, con1 dot. As soon I have typed con1 dot, so there are different methods that has been displayed by the JVM. So I'll just use this particular method, this particular statement that says that SQL. So it's saying that you have to pass a SQL query inside this. Okay, so now just compare it with the statement object. In the statement object you are just writing con dot create statement, okay, and there is no SQL query that you are passing in the statement object. But here, okay, you have to remember that when you are creating a prepared statement object, then you have to compulsory pass the query, okay, in the form of the string, okay, and this query that we are passing, this query is a parameterized query. Okay, so it means that this query will process at runtime. It is a dynamic query. Okay, so it will map the values, okay, that the user will be passing during runtime, and with the help of the mapping, these values will be reflected into the database with the help of certain procedures. So what I'll write here, I'll write the query insert into the table name was student values, and inside this what I'll write question mark, okay, comma question mark. So this question mark comma question mark is, these are the parameters. Okay, so I haven't written any value here. Okay, this value will be provided, will be supplied by the user itself during runtime. Okay, so this particular SQL query that I have written inside the prepared statement, this is a pre-compiled, okay, this, with the help of this query, this statement becomes a pre-compiled statement, okay, that I have, okay, discussed in the previous lectures, that this statement, this query will be compiled only once throughout the program, okay, and it can be executed any number of times, but it will be compiled at the database engine only once, and its compiled copy will be saved by the database server, and a copy will be reflected back to the prepared statement object. That's why this is known as a pre-compiled statement. Okay, so the prepared statement is a pre-compiled statement. So the next thing is what we will do now. We are more interested, okay, in asking the input from the user. So for that we have to create a scanner class object. So what we'll do, we'll just use scanner sc is equal to new scanner, okay, and inside this what we have to pass, I have to pass system dot in. Okay, system dot in, that I'll be using the input values, okay, from the keyboard, from the input stream. Okay, so just import a library, that is import java.util.star. I hope this is, till now it is clear to you. Okay, so the next thing is, now you have to insert the record, so you have to use certain loop. Okay, so what I'll be using a while loop, and inside this I'll make the condition true. Okay, so while true, so inside this while loop I'll just ask the user. Okay, so as you have seen that the database table contains two parameters. Okay, the first parameter is the name and the second parameter is the age. So first I will just ask from the user to input the name. So just I'll write enter the name of the student. Okay, so it will be stored in the form of string name is equal to sc dot next. Okay, sc dot next. Okay, so this will be stored. Okay, so sc dot next method will just take the value, okay, in the form of a string, and it will, okay, return this to the name. Okay, the next is I have to set the value, the age. Okay, so enter the age. So for this I'll have to take a variable of type int, and what I have to write sc dot next int. Okay, so it is reflected here. Now we have taken the input from the user. Now what we have to do, we have to map this. Okay, so we have to use the setter methods of the prepared statement, so that we can set the values, okay, of these values, name and age, into the proper column, into the proper indexes, okay, so that these question mark will be mapped by these values, okay, these setter values that I'll be fixing. So what I'll do, I'll just write, okay, ps dot, okay, set string, okay, ps dot set string, and here you can see when I have written ps dot set string, then it says integer parameter index and comma string name. Okay, so the parameter is the column name, okay, the column name should be in the form of integer value. So what I'll write here, 1 comma, and the string value is name. So it says that at column 1 the name will be fixed. Okay, so at column 1 is for name, so at column 1 the name will be fixed, and this name that has been taken, that has been passed during the runtime, okay, from the keyboard by the user, it will be just copied, it will be mapped into this parameter, the first parameter. Okay, so similarly I have to set, okay, int, okay, because the next parameter is age. So for age, what I have to write, parameter index is 2. Okay, so at second column I have to set age. Okay, so these two things I have just completed. Now what we have to do, we have to execute this statement, we have to execute the query. Okay, because the pre-compiled query is now available to the database engine, now it is the responsibility of the database engine, okay, to call certain method, we have to call certain method from to this database engine, so that this query will be executed. So what I'll do, I'll write a statement, okay, and the name of this statement is ps dot, okay, because this is the object, ps is the object of prepared statement, so I'll write ps dot execute, okay, update. Okay, so here you can see it is written ps dot execute update. So if you are creating a statement object, then you have to write statement st dot execute query, and inside this you have to pass the query. But now we have just, okay, we have just written the query, we have just passed the query during the time when we have created the prepared statement. So now what we are doing, we are just writing this simple statement, that execute update. It means that we have to modify our records. Okay, we are inserting the records from the Java application. It means that we are modifying our database. So this execute update will be used to update the records in the database. Okay, so now the database will be modified. Okay, so this execute update will be executed n number of times depending upon our while loop. Okay, so if we are asking, if we have to set, for example, 5 records, then 5 times this execute update query will be processed by the database engine. Okay, 5 times the execution will be done, but the compilation will be done only one time. Okay, so that's why the prepared statement is known as the pre-compiled statement. Okay, because the query that we have, okay, we are passing will be compiled only once. So the next statement is, now till now it is clear. So now what we have to do, we have to just check. Okay, so what I am doing, I am just writing int x is equal to, so each time the record is updated, okay, each time the record is updated, so I have to set, I have to just, in spite of here I just write this, I just return, okay, that how many records are updated. Okay, so it will return an integer. Okay, execute update will return an integer, okay, that I have saved inside a variable. And here I will just write sysout, okay, for checking x plus, okay, records updated, okay, at x plus records updated successfully. Okay, so it has returned each time this execute update will be processed, so an integer will be, okay, an integer value will be returned, and I am just, okay, printing this integer value, that if, for example, one time this loop will be processed, then this query will be executed one time, and it shows that one record has been updated successfully. Okay, so in a similar way, okay, it is up to the user that how many times he wants to execute this particular while loop. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to just ask from the user that if the user wants, okay, some more records to be inserted into the database. Okay, so for this what we have to write, sys out, okay, do you want more records to be inserted? Okay, so I have to just take some choice, so it says ha and na, it means yes and no. Okay, so you can take it anything. So what I'll write now, I have to create a string, okay, because I have to make a choice. Okay, I have to use some choice, so I'll be taking a string ch, okay, in which, okay, I have to just use the scanner object, that is sc dot next, because I am asking from the user that whether you want some more records or not. So if the choice will be ha, then this particular will be reflected, it will be stored in this choice, string choice, and if it is na, then it will also be stored in this string choice. Okay, so a string choice ch we have taken, okay, so that if further records are to be inserted, then it will be mapped according to this. Okay, so now if, okay, the user don't want, okay, if the user wants that further I don't want any records to be inserted, then I have to use a condition if, okay, this ch dot, and you can see there are different, okay, there are different methods, so we have to use this ignore case. Okay, so if ch dot equals ignore case, and we have to pass another string, that is the another string is if we want to insert more records, then it means it is ha, and if I want no further records to be inserted, then I have to write na. Okay, so if it is na, so what we will do, we will just break this condition. Okay, so we'll just break this condition. Okay, and when we are just breaking this condition, so we have to close this while loop. Okay, and we have to close the connection dot close. Okay, and this try block is completed here, and we have to write the catch block, that is exception ae, and here we have to just, okay, print the stack trace ae dot print stack trace. Okay, and we have to complete the program. Okay, so this catch is completed, and what we have to do, we have to just complete this block, and we have to complete this block. There are certain errors. Okay, let's see what are the errors. It's saying syntax error on token catch identifier expected. Okay, so let's see whether we have, first the error is here. Okay, and try, we haven't written any try. Okay, so we haven't written any try block, so it is very important, okay, to write your code inside the try block, because if there is any problem in the connection, okay, if there is any problem in the connection, then you can write systematic your catch block, and inside the catch block you can write your own statement. Okay, so if you are not, okay, you are not working, you are not interested in writing try or catch block, then you can directly write the statement throws exception. Okay, so it will automatically throw the exception to the JVM. Okay, so but I am more interested, I am more concerned, okay, for my program, so I am writing this program inside the try and catch. Okay, so all the errors have been resolved, so let's try to run this code, okay, and see what is the output. So it says enter the name of the student. Okay, so if I type Alex, okay, enter the age 20, so it says one records updated successfully. Okay, so one record has been successfully updated. Okay, it says do you want more records to be inserted? Okay, so I type ha. okay, and it says enter the name of the student again. So I write Ram, okay, and enter the age 21. Okay, so let's try to see. I have just inserted two records in our database table, and let's check whether these records are present in our table or not. So last time when we have executed this select star from student query, then it says empty set. It means that there were no records present. Okay, so again let's try to run this and let's see whether the records that we have passed from our Java application are present, are reflected here or not. Okay, so here you can see Alex and Ram. Okay, these records are successfully, okay, inserted, okay, updated in our database from the Java application. Okay, so these two records are successfully present, two rows have been set. Okay, so again if you want to say that yes, I want to insert some more records, so let us suppose Mohan. Okay, so it's nphan. Okay, no worries. Age is 29. Okay, so it says one record updated successfully. Okay, so again if you want to see, so this mphan is there. Okay, and the age is 29. Okay, so the name, there is some, okay, problem in the character. This p should be o, so it is Mohan. Okay, so try to consider it as Mohan. Okay, so let's say, do you want to insert more records? So I say no. Okay, so it has been terminated. Okay, the program has been terminated. Okay, and here you can see there are only 3 records. So in this way you can use the prepared statement, okay, that uses a parameterized query that is responsible, that will be processed during runtime. And the main advantage of this type of query is that it is a dynamic query. Okay, and the prepared statement is a precompiled statement. It is, okay, it will be compiled only once and can be executed a number of times. Okay.